Alright, what's going on guys? It's me Jamie back with another video, and the first thing I have to do is apologise. There has not been a video for ages, and ever since I uploaded that first video my life has become so busy it's ridiculous. I've been doing so much overtime at work. Any spare time that I have had, I've been going out just because I've been doing so much overtime, so I want to go out and relax with my mates and all that sort of thing. So I finally got a chance to record some more videos. I'm sorry it's been such a long gap, but here we are then, end of September, and I've started on this screen because I don't want to give too much away. Quite a bit has happened since you last joined me, and first I think it's probably best to go through the rest of the transfer window, because there was a little bit of out that led to a few bits of in, and I'll show you what I mean. So I told you that Anita was a bit annoyed about not being able to join Valencia. Well, he's gone to Watford instead. I know it's a massive step up, but Watford came in again. He piped up that he wanted to leave, and actually they offered good finances on this deal. I mean, if we have a look, initially it was at £8 million, rises in plenty of add-ons to about 15 million, which is what I wanted. And because he wasn't happy, I thought, you know what, let's let him go. We've got good cover in the right back position in Jesus Gamez and DeAndre Yedlin, so I thought they're good enough championship defenders. Yes, okay, Anita is one of our better players, but he's not irreplaceable, and the money we could use well. And on deadline day, this guy decided to go as well. He was sat in the reserves. I wasn't playing him, and I saw on deadline day that Leicester were interested, so I just offered him out. He's gone for just over £5 million, and I know it's quite cheap for a player like Ayoze Perez. He normally commands quite a big fee, but I was happy just to get him off the books, so it gave us more transfer budget to play with, and we've done a bit of business. The first player to introduce you then to, get my words out, is Javi Sanchez. Now, like I've said to you before, once I get a scouting network set up, I send scouts all over Europe, so I get a scout to go to Spain, Germany, Italy, France, to scout the whole country, not just the top division. You might find a few hidden gems. But this guy, 19, was on a youth contract in the Real Madrid B team. And so we didn't have to pay like a ridiculous fee like you have to for some youngsters. His compensation, as you can see, 925 grand. But the potential on this guy, I mean, 2-star current ability, 4.5-star potential ability. He's gone straight out on loan to Grimsby because obviously we want him to develop. It says there he's got potential to be a Sky Bet Championship central defender. I think coming through the Real Madrid academy, 4.5-star ability, I think he could go on to be something quite special. He already got stats of like marking 14, tackling 14, determination 16. So, he's got a good start, a good platform to build on. And he wasn't the only centre back that we poached from Real Madrid. Meet Alex Salto. Again, you have a look at the current ability, 2-star, potential ability 4.5-star, very similar stats to Sanchez. Again, on a youth contract in the Real Madrid B team, slightly lower compensation. This could be a future centre-back pairing for Newcastle United. Two 19-year-olds from the Real Madrid academy. Again, if we have a look, 2-star current ability, it doesn't give us what they reckon his potential ability. If you compare him to Salto, likeliness to be a championship player, if not a Premier League player. So I was more than happy to snap up these two, and Salto hasn't quite grabbed the interest of anyone to send him out on loan. There was a few loan offers coming in, but they were all like backup to the first team, and I thought, well, if he's only going to be a backup, there's no point sending him out. We'll keep him here. He can play in the under-23s and get experience that way. Another centre back. Now, the first time I heard of this guy is on Kev's non-league to legend series this year he's doing when he was at Tour. Sillard was still there, and he was like the big man at the club. He was, he was the captain. He was the go-to player. He's 20 years old. We've brought him in for a fee of 850k, so quite cheap. Again, 2-star ability, 4-star potential ability, potentially not quite as good as Salto and Sanchez, but another centre back in the van, 20 years old. Like I said, he's gone straight back to tour on loan for the season, so that'll only help his development. But again, we've got great centre backs already, but if you can bring through great players, some of these players might not even play. So if they develop into good players, we could even sell them on for a good fee in the future. So more than happy to keep bringing in these youth players. Next on the list, 19-year-old Portuguese striker Andre Ribeiro. Brought him in from FC Zurich. Again, you can see 2-star current ability, 3.5-star potential ability. Brought him in for a fee of 600 grand. The potential on this guy is, unfounded really. I've seen him in other series go on and become quite a big striker in the European leagues. He's already played a few games for me, coming on as a sub. So, he's had flashes of the first team. Look at those stats for a 19-year-old. 14 dribbling, 14 finishing, 14 heading. Likes to play as that advanced forward. I play in advanced for all my teams, so it all fits. Again, wanted to try and get him out on loan, but no one wanted him. But he's more than happy. I'm more than happy to keep him here as an option to bring off the bench. And lastly, a name that will be a bit more familiar to most of you, Jordan Williams. He's from the Liverpool Academy. A lot of you will know him from there. He goes on, doesn't normally quite make it at Liverpool, but is always a good Championship player or sometimes lower Premier League player. Again, bought him fairly cheap, 600 grand. As you can see, he's gone straight out on loan to Portsmouth. Already played a couple of games, but I like the versatility on this guy. He can play centre back, defensive mid, centre mid, right back. So he provides options, and again, a good player to have. 3.5 current, 3.5 potential star ability. Sorry, he's already played for the under-21s in Wales. So hopefully we can go on to do big things. So as you can see, then that was the rest of our business. Nothing really to note. Hadara went out on loan to Bordeaux for the season, but again, he's young. He can still develop. So I was quite happy to let him go out on loan. Anyway, the reason I haven't given away who we're playing today is because it's quite a big game. And we're only early into the season, so there's not many big games yet, but I think you'll agree with me, but this is quite a big one. But we'll have a look at the recent form first, and there'll be some spoilers as to who we're playing in this game today. So since you last joined me then, against Fulham, we've gone on a nice little run. I'll just rattle through the fixtures quickly. A 2-1 win at home to Huddersfield. Yusuf Hadji getting a goal. Huddersfield equalising. Lascelles getting the winner. 7 minutes to go. Actually, to note, Gale got injured in this game. Was out for a little while. He's had a couple of niggly injuries so far this season, so he hasn't played as much as I would like him to. But nevertheless, a 2-1 win. First win at home, which is important. We then played my beloved Reading, and it looked like we were going to lose this game. And I didn't really mind that because it's Reading. We didn't really offer much, as you can see on the team sheet. I had to resort to playing Jamie Ward up front, so needs must. But luckily, 7 minutes to go again at home. Jack Colback scoring a lovely equaliser. We dominated the second half. We pushed and we got what we deserved. A high-scoring game away at Bristol City. 4-2 winners. They went 1-0 up really quick. Gale equalised. They went 2-1 up, and I just thought, oh no. And Beba equalising. Gale 2 goals in 2 minutes in the second half, securing a game. But you'll notice after he's got his hat trick again, he got injured, and maybe I rushed him back a bit quick, but he got another injury, and that's kept him out until fairly recent. A 2-1 win away in the EFL Cup against Blackpool. This game was such a struggle. As you can see, we went 1-0 down, and we just didn't turn up in the first half, so I gave him an absolute bollocking at half time. And then 2 goals within 10 minutes of the restart. Jamie Ward and Alex Mitrovic getting their first goals for the season. As you can see on the right hand side, a fairly rotated team, but still with good enough strength, I would have thought, to see this team more comfortably. Wasn't convincing, but nevertheless we got the win. Probably one of our better performances so far. A comfortable 3-0 win against Brighton. And obviously, Newcastle and Brighton, the two teams that got automatically promoted in real life. We saw this game off very comfortably. Yusuf Hadji grabbing another goal, Mitrovic grabbing one too, Atsu chipping in as well. Look at those average ratings. The whole starting 11 getting at least a 7.1. That's a great team performance. All the players scoring the goals, having great games. Can't ask for much more than that. Now, after the international break, an away game at Pride Park, I was worried coming into this one. Derby has struggled, but I've always struggled against them on Football Manager. They're quite a bogey team for me. And early on, as you can see, we got a penalty. Shelby tucking that away. Nugent on the stroke of half time makes it 1-1. And I was worried going into the second half. It started fairly even. Hadji popped up on the hour mark with another goal, and he confirmed our win in the 92nd minute. For a 36-year-old, he's not doing too bad. He's chipping in quite nicely, and he's impressing us. That's certainly safe to say. Next, an away game at then second place QPR. It was top versus second, and as you can see, quite a tight game. Mitrovic scoring in the 20th minute. I think he also missed a penalty in this game. No, that doesn't say anything. I think he missed a penalty. And Nbakoto, I'm really sorry if I butchered that, scoring in just before half time. It's a fairly stale game. I was happy, first versus second, I was happy to go away with a draw. In our last game, Wolves at home in the league, and so we went 1-0 down in this game. John Dabby Bodvarsson, who, as I record this today, has just joined Reading. So, he's now my new favourite player, even though he scored against me. And again, it didn't look like we were going to turn up for this one. Gave him an absolute rollick in a half time. Dwight Gale back from injury, coming off the bench within 5 minutes of coming on. He scores. Jack Cole back again with a lovely goal outside the area, straight into the top corner. 4 minutes to go, confirming the win. So some performances really good, some performances not quite that convincing, but nevertheless unbeaten until today. As you can see, the EFL Cup has produced the Tyne-Wear derby. We are away for this game. And as you can see, Sunderland are the favourites. So I like to rotate my teams in the EFL Cup. So I'm not going with my strongest team. Even though it is a Tyne-Wear derby, and I know how much it means to the fans, even on the game, I'm not going to, stray away from my philosophy. I want to give game time to those players that haven't played that much. And hopefully, the spirit of the occasion will lift them. Anyway, let's have a look at today's team. So as you can see, we have got Kyle Darlow in goal, who's actually been starting a few more games for me recently rather than Sells. So he's performing well. I've decided to keep him in the side. A back four of Yedlin, Hanley, Clark and Lazar. In defensive midfield, we've got Hayden. In the centre, we have Diarmi and Colback. On the wings, we have Richie playing as an inside forward, Rolando Aaron's on the wing, and a first appearance of the season for Daryl Murphy. He's been out this whole time, and I know his conditioning isn't great. I think the fitness test, if we have a look, said to play him for a half. I want to give him a half. I think he's the kind of player that could offer something a little bit different and maybe cause Sunderland problems. Gale's on the bench, if we have a quick look. Yeah, Gale and Hadji on the bench. So, if Murphy's not working, we can bring Gale on and he offers something completely different. So a quick look at the team then. Sunderland playing a full strength team. Defoe up top, Januzaj, Kazri and Gooch in behind. McNair and Love in the middle. This team can definitely be got at, that's for sure. I fancy my boys. It's going to be a tough game. Of course, it's a derby, so it's going to make it even harder, but I fancy the boys. Right then, so the league table has disappeared, obviously, because this is a cup game. Just make sure goal replays are turned on. So, let's get involved. And 3 minutes in, Rolando Aarons is injured. Brilliant, that's fine. We can got a very capable deputy in Christian Atsu to bring on, although I hope that's not a long-term injury. Colback with a free kick then, straight at Mika. Quite far out, so would have been something spectacular to get past the keeper from there. Anyway, Defoe picks up the ball out wide to Gooch. He's only got Lazar to beat, and he does beat him. Whips the ball in, Yedlin heads away, only as far as Kazri. Beats his man, is Januzaj. It's 1-0. I felt that was quite easy, to be honest. tackles flying in, we're missing and getting beaten very easily, and Januzaj unmarked in the middle. It's just 6 yards out, unmarked. Even a player of Januzaj's quality, you can't let him do that. Advantage Sunderland then in the Tyne-Wear derby. Yeah, so there were no other highlights in the first half. That was literally the goal was, and the free kick was the only highlights in that half. So I'm gonna get aggressive. Show me something else in the second half. Let's see motivated. I am gonna bring Gale on. I don't. Murphy looks knackered and he's not really having much impact on the game. So we'll change Gale to an advanced forward and we will get at them. Oviedo then with the free kick whips in. Morales. And Yedlin gives away a penalty. Just doesn't look like it's gonna be our derby day. I knew it was going to be tough coming into it, but you know, it's not been a good performance. Khazri steps up, straight down the middle. I thought Darlow might save that, but it's a good penalty. Khazri makes it 2-0, and it's going to be an upward battle from here. But just remember, we're playing this game with a rotated team. You know, I thought it was going to be a good enough team to at least produce a performance, but as you can see, a slight change of tactic today. Got slightly more defensively. As Khazri was the ball in. Morales 3-0. Oh, for God's sake. Do you know what? Gung-ho. Just going to go attacking. We've got nothing to lose now. Don't want to get embarrassed. Yeah, I thought this was going to be a team capable of challenging today's game. But if you look at the stats, it's been all Sunderland. We've barely even turned up. 10 minutes to go. Not a lot happening. Okay, what we're going to do, I think we're just going to bring Hadji on and put him out on that right-hand side. He can play there, so, you know, we've got nothing to lose. Let's try and get a goal back and salvage something. But a disappointing performance it looks like today. Completely dominated by Sunderland, but you know, the board and the fans won't be happy. But the EFL Cup is not really one of my priorities, as there's 5 seconds to go, and that looks like it's going to be it. Indeed it is. 3-0 at the Stadium Light, a poor performance. I think these players need to know that that wasn't acceptable. You know, again, like I said, it's not massively important, but it's derby day. You've got to give the fans something. Even if you lose, you've got to give them a performance to, you know, to be proud of. And yeah, I want to apologise to the fans today. That was shocking. You look at the stats: 17 shots to 8, 43% possession. Just not good enough. Right, it's been quite a long one already. I think today went through plenty of admin before we got into the game. Not many highlights in the game, but that defeat certainly brings us back down to earth. Probably jinxed it by saying we're gonna beaten into this one, but you know, we can still carry on the league form hopefully, and yeah, I'll decide what game. Actually, let's do that now. So as we have a look at the fixtures then, a couple of hard games coming up. Villa away next, Norwich at home, the two relegated teams. That's going to be a tough game. I think we'll leave it a little while. If anything interesting happens, or you know, we're playing a team around us or something, I'll bring that to you. But I'm thinking somewhere along the lines of Preston. If you have liked today's episode, drop a like on there for me. That little thumbs up, that helps me out massively. If you want to leave a comment, let me know what you think of the transfer business. You know, please feel free to do so. If you haven't already and you're new here, please subscribe. I'm hopefully going to try and get, work's calmed down a little bit this week, but you know, if there's overtime going, I'm probably going to take it. It's more money at the end of the day. So I've got stuff coming up. All the more money will help. But I'm going to try and get as much content done over the weekend as possible and try and spread out the uploads. So try and get a little bit ahead. I'll do what I can, guys. But yeah, if you've enjoyed it, like I said, pop a like on there. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And I'll see you guys in a bit.